one has to be careful, because when you are in pursuit of success, you have to be careful that you don't get distracted. And in doing that, you have to work very hard in terms of being disciplined, not to lose out, because there are some people who pursue success and they lose out on many things. They lose out on values. They lose out on family, and they lose out on their on the spiritual elements as well. So this is key to have a balanced life, and this will take you all the way.
We're coming to the next part of the show, which is the pursuit of success. On Tuesdays, we look at stories, those who have built things, who literally share with us tips, because there is a formula to grow things. There's a formula to develop things, and what happens is when people are telling their stories or their experiences and their tips, you usually find that there are coincidences that are similar, and these, once we practice these golden nuggets, we can literally go out there and make things happen. They say smart is the one who learns from their own mistakes.
Exactly.
Wise is the one who learns from somebody else. So just take the simple route. So let's just use our intelligence here. All right. So good to have you with us, Mr. Efe.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, listeners.
Yeah. So how are you feeling today? How's everything?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. You just came from the meeting from the Help Center. Yes. Straight up there. Excellent. Now, Mr. Efe, so we've got you in today, and it's about sharing 10 steps, right, to create a life of quality. All right. Now, we've got listeners. Everybody is at different stages and different journeys in their life. There are those who may have developed certain things and they want to increase it more. There are those who are in the middle of their journey to building something. They can literally smell it coming close, right? And then those who are like, where do I begin, right? And hopefully the goal today with what you're going to share with us is that wherever the person is, they will get the tools that they need to kind of navigate what they need to do. So we've got a few questions for you, but just first things first. I mean, so far, what have you built so far?
Well, I have a few businesses. I will regard myself as an entrepreneur. Yeah. So, which basically is someone who builds businesses and takes risk. Yes. Financial risk.
Okay. Yes, I like the way you had that spark in your eyes when you said that.
Yes.
The risk is it a rush of adrenaline or?
But there's a secret to that.
Yeah.
I call it risk.
Yeah.
But what I had to do, I had to look for a partner.
Yeah.
And that partner owns the world.
You can't go wrong with that.
That was wise. That was very wise. I had to look for that partner who had unlimited resources. And so we entered into a non-secondment, non-disclosure agreement. And that's how it all began.
Yes. So okay. So who you partner with, right? But also you said high risk, right?
Yes.
And just to say, his partner, all right. Even though there are situations that are high risk, you kind of like you have confidence, right?
Yeah.
And I think being able to take risk is you're already giving us a nugget just by showing us what you do. You know what I mean? Because many times we human beings want to stay safe.
Yes.
We don't want to risk what we have, right? Risk discomfort. So just already hearing like how you develop these businesses and the way your mindset is and the way you had a sparkle in your eyes when you said that.
Yes.
It's like when your wife says, I'm gonna do that lamb steak for you this evening, you're like so when you said risk, it was the same type of thing, like yes. So that's interesting. All right, so that's powerful. So we've got some stuff going on now, and obviously you build these things. But now let's go through those 10 steps. All right, let's go through these 10 steps. I believe you've given us a bit of a tip just in telling us what you built so far. But 10 steps. So if someone wants to build a life of quality, what would be step number 1?
Step number 1, as I said, is looking for the partner who is God. In my case,
yes,
that partner is God, and that's the first step. When you find God, you know the purpose. You know your purpose. You know the purpose of your life. You spoke earlier about dyslexia. We all have weaknesses. So, and we have talents. So you look for your talent.
So don't look for your weakness, look for your talent.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So find your talent. We all have talents. It's amazing. And, we all have talents. So, so once you know that, then the next thing is the risk. We call it risk.
Is this step number 2?
So the first one is God.
Yeah.
Finding God. The second one is your talent. The third one is taking risk.
Okay, I just want to dwell on the first one just a bit. So the first one being God having a partner.
Yes.
Many times we hear people have business ventures and they have the fallout with their partner. They have a partner who got too greedy. They had a partner who made wrong choices. Some people have their partner who's a human being as a crutch, right? And things go wrong. There's animosity. The business doesn't grow right. The vision of the business changes. Human beings, when they have a partner, they can have harmony if they make agreement with each other, but nothing is kind of you're still trying to find your way. But you're saying your partner was God.
Yes.
Owner of all the resources. He sees things before they happen.
Exactly.
And so you're sharing with us, this is the first thing.
Yes.
And he's not someone that's going to turn corrupt and kind of and kind of stab you in the back.
Exactly.
So long as you remain faithful to him.
Exactly.
And I think we can miss this.
Yes.
Right? We can miss this because the business people right now, they're part of their struggles is people they've partnered with. Most of the challenges come from partners, right? Human beings. So someone maybe they don't have the faith background, but I think this is something to consider. A higher power, a higher source, a higher strength, God, to put all your plans to.
If you don't have if you put it, let me put it in perspective. I prefer to go to the source, to the creator. But it's like, if you think of a big business like Coca-Cola, you can be owner of Coca-Cola, but you can also partner with a subsidiary. You can partner with a shop. So there are different categories of partnership. So when we talk about partnership, of putting God first, we are going to the source of everything. But you can decide to go to the lower layers. You may be successful, but it's not as good as there are people who are down the chain.
Yeah.
For example, a big business like Coca-Cola. I'm not promoting Coca-Cola, by the way, but a big business like Coca-Cola, they are down the chain. And they're still doing. If you go, all goes down.
Yeah.
They are partnering in one way with Coca-Cola, even though it could be maybe someone, at a category of 1,000 beneath.
That's true.
They are still there. So it's the same. There are principles of success. And you may be successful, but you won't have it all. But when you go to the source, you will have it all.
That sounds beautiful. You may be successful, but you won't have it all.
Yes.
Shad, what are your thoughts on that line there?
Well, I mean, one of the things I've always spoken about, and I guess now is a good time to kind of bring this up, because I'm aware of Mr. Efe's work as not just as a businessman, but even as an assistant and in terms of the work of the church. And one of the things that I've heard from some of the young people is that when Mr. Efe has gone them to help them, to actually speak to them and to direct them into these things. And one of the wisest things, just like Mr. Efe was saying, was this idea of making your partnership with God. because when you're young or whoever you are,
Yeah,
basically you're entering into uncharted waters. You're entering into a realm where you don't know what's going to happen next, which also means that you're going to face problems that you're not going to be able to know the answer to. Like, you know, those decisions where both decisions look right, but you're not really going to know what to do. You're not going to know the consequences of your decisions.
Yeah.
And that's where having God by your side is the most important, because a lot of these decisions, like Mr. Efe was talking about risk, but he's not just talking about risking money, he's risking his personal life, because that's what he puts on the line when he makes certain decisions. He puts his name, and because it's his personal life, it's also his family, it's his wife, his children.
Yeah.
That's what he puts on the line. And the greatest guarantee, the greatest guarantor is God. And that is the value of having God by your side whenever you make these decisions.
Okay, drop it like it's hot. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Shad. And you know, and something else you said about if you want success, to go to the source, because it's possible to have wealth, to have assets, but be deeply unhappy.
Exactly.
Right? To feel deeply poor, and you're wondering why. Why should I feel like this? So I think with that first one that you put there, and from what I perceive from you, even just by the way your eyes lit up when you said it the first time, is that you are going to the source and you get the full package of, I believe, feeling complete, having purpose, which isn't just money, which isn't just something tangible, right? And you're secure.
We was even speaking about this yesterday, wasn't it? That people make decisions, like, you know, when they're talking about investments, so they want to invest in something, and how long should I hold, when should I pull out, one of these things. People make decisions based on, I want to make as much money as I can. So they'll either hold on forever to the point where they've already lost, you know, most of their the majority of their profit or something like that. But the desire for just money for the sake of money it's never been it's never been fulfilling, it's never led anyone to happiness or anything like that.
Having it all is contentment. Is having a balanced life, you know, having your needs met, family, health, and that's having the right balance. You know, so it comes to the next one, which is discipline.
Sorry, you know, on breakfast show, this word is like, oh, right there, like, oh gosh, discipline. Father, so let's go.
So there's someone I'm mentoring at the moment, and I said to him, look, I want you to do everything I do. Because what it is, a lot of people want, and when I say everything I do, the balance, the balance of getting yourself right. So it's discipline in all aspects. So discipline in your goals. So when you find your talent, you have to be focused. You have to be disciplined in order for you to realize the best. And one has to be careful, because when you are in pursuit of success, you have to be careful that you don't get distracted. And in doing that, you have to work very hard in terms of being disciplined, not to lose out. Because there are some people who pursue success and they lose out on many things. They lose out on values. They lose out on family, and they lose out on their on the spiritual elements as well. So this is key to have a balanced life, and this will take you all the way when you are disciplined.
Okay, you know, so what you're saying to us, Efe, is that, so when we say discipline, we sometimes discipline, the spotlight goes on the work that you need to do. You need to sacrifice, you need to discipline, but the discipline also spills out onto family, onto spiritual life, onto our values.
Exactly.
They all come together.
Exactly.
They're not the work and all those things are like, I'll come back to it later.
Yes.
No, all of these things are interwoven in that discipline to look after them.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you have to be disciplined to have that balance. If not, you can miss the goal. And you can, because, for example, if you have a family that you are not there for them, it's not a good example.
Yeah.
You know, you could be successful in terms of material wealth, but you could lose out on that. Then also, if you are not disciplined to keep your values, you know, like integrity, you know, keeping to your word, because there will be challenges, and also discipline to stick to your beliefs, to stick to your to your talent. You have to believe in yourself, because that's what will take you when it comes to when you face challenges. You have to be sure of yourself. That's why it's important. It's important not to copy. It's important to find your own talent.
That's a good one.
Yes.
That's a very interesting one.
Yes.
And I think just from what you're saying there, because sometimes people can be maybe I'm saying this wrong, but sometimes many people could be chasing the wealth.
Yes.
But they're not chasing their passion, where their talent lies.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And if you get that right, the other things will follow you anyway.
Exactly.
So that means, so what you're saying to us is that if you chase the wealth, you will end up being dissatisfied, probably in a place where you don't want to be. And then that's a frustration. So I think that's why number one is so important.
Yes.
Because it kind of sets the groundwork and gives you a discernment to manage the situations and whatever you choose to go into.
Yes. And discipline is very important, because I think when you are disciplined to with the right ethical principles, what happens is it's a niche. So you have to find your niche. That's the next one.
Okay, number 3 is find your niche.
Yes. So your niche was, for us, for me, was my niche. My niche is just the right values, which today is difficult in the is difficult in this. You know, you find that, you know, people don't keep to their word. They don't keep to time. You find that people just want to take your money. You know, they don't really care. You know, how many companies are putting money first before the
customer?
Before the customer.
Wow.
You know, you know, people don't. They don't care of. They don't really care of the needs of the of the customer or values. You know, for example, one has to be careful what you invest in. You know, you can't invest in any product. You try and avoid, depending obviously on your ethical principle, on products that will promote
detriment.
Yes, that could be detrimental to health, to values. So it's not easy. And also, there are companies who have sharp practices, you know, and they don't
sharp practices.
Yes. For example, there was a company who probably when you say sharp practices, it means it's what some people will say being very cutthroat. You know what I mean? And sometimes it borders to a bit of is the borderline of wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So I think in today's society, if you do things right, you'll easily be noticed.
Wow. And you know what's interesting about what you're saying? Because some people think if you do things right, people take shortcuts because they want to get a result very quickly. And when you say no one sees integrity as, not everybody sees integrity as being a niche. Integrity is one of those things like, yeah, if I choose it, I choose it. If I don't, I don't. But it's actually my statement. You know, it's actually, this is what I'll present to you. As well as my services, I present you integrity as well. So what you're showing to me today, Efe, is that, you know, there are some things that we can look at like just on a very superficial level, like discipline, and just focus on one area of discipline, which is the work. But obviously we've spoken today that it discipline with family, with spiritual life, so it all holds together. Your niche isn't just your niche brand that you prepare, or niche product or service, but it's actually my niche also is that we have integrity in our company.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it seems like everybody who takes this philosophy, or this thought, they do well. For example, the CEO of Costco, Craig Jellink, you know, he's someone that chooses to put his staff first. He made sure that his staff are well taken care of. And then when you see Costco on the stock market, they're doing so well. It's a strong company, but he chose to put them first. That was his ethics. There's some people who want to feed themselves and leave everybody else weak, right?
I think I was playing Monopoly last week, first day.
Okay.
You know, Monopoly, how there's a bit of like the way that you win is by making sure everyone else loses. And I think certain things like that understanding of, for me to win, you have to lose. You know what I mean? Because the way Monopoly works, Mr. F, I'm not sure if you've ever played it, but basically it's a board game.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
He's played a real life Monopoly.
So the idea is that everyone else has to be bankrupt for you to win. But for everyone else to be bankrupt, it means you need to take advantage of everyone. So there was even one where, you know, the idea of the game is to kind of put everyone else at a bankruptcy position. And so when you was talking about being cutthroat, I was kind of thinking about some of the things that I did during Monopoly, where, for example, you know, someone isn't fully aware of the deal that they're about to get into, and you take advantage of that. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, you take advantage of the fact that they're not fully aware of how bad the deal is for them. You're kind of just sugarcoating it.
Or you are selling a bad product and you know it's bad, and you don't really disclose, you know.
Yeah, you know, you're selling a property that has no value.
Yes.
And you hype up to them that, look, you know, if you invest in a property it's going to have a lot of potential value and you can win. But the potential value still isn't worth it because of the location of the property.
Yeah.
So things like that. And then I was just thinking about that cutthroatness, I think sometimes is pushed onto us because we do, to a certain degree, live in a world.
A lot of people do this. They make promises, informal promises, and if you are naive, they know what they are doing, but they don't put that in writing.
Yeah.
And once the deal is done, they say sorry.
Oh wow! Look out for that, guys. Actually, I got into one of those traps concerning my refurbishing my kitchen. Seriously, yeah. So being on the receiving end is not good. It's not good.
Yes.
The Lord will deal with them.
That's how you feel, though.
The Lord will deal with them. Anyway, number one. That's why you need number one. All right. But okay. So yeah. So that's number two. So the third one, number two was discipline. The third one is find your niche. Yeah. What's it? Chanel from Kilburn says, I agree. I know a lot of people that are business orientated and stable, but they still empty because they neglect the other priorities such as family and spiritual life. A very strong point. You know, I think those of us who have, you know, probably have seen this, you know, if we run in certain circles, that this is the thing. There's an internal deficit in the individual, even though they have a lot of material, you know, which could be a challenge.
So the next one is knowing where the need is of your service. So you need to, once you found your talent, you have to know where the need is. Obviously, this is not in order. You know, they're just principles. They are not necessarily in order, but you have to know where the need is, because, you know, it's like if you have a restaurant and it's a sitting restaurant in the wrong location, for example. So you could have the best cuisine, but if it's in the wrong location,
you shoot yourself in the foot.
You know, so you really need to know where the need for your service is. So that's where marketing comes in, and that marketing has to be strategic marketing.
Okay, strategic. Gotcha. Strategic marketing, and you know, guys, I mean, maybe what Mr. Efe is saying now is the difference between you doing something sometimes and you blowing up in what you're doing. You're doing, expanding, growing in what you're doing to see a huge return. Maybe confidence has made you probably market to a few local friends and family, you know what I mean? And that's the position that you put yourself in, even though you have a really good product, a really great service, and you confine yourself to that lack of courage, or just maybe, you know, the marketing. But, you know, sometimes we need a bit of courage to like place ourselves where we need to be, and that may be very intimidating, right? There is some, you maybe have something that's really good and you feel intimidated to go to a certain clientele, to a certain environment with it, but we need to have courage, right? We need to have courage. So know the need of your service. We know where the need of your service is. Don't get me wrong, I think it's wise if you start in your immediate so you can test and get feedback, you know, but once you get to a certain point, you can't stay in that same place forever. We need to have courage to kind of step out and see where else our need is. The time would have taught us things, you know what I mean, to help us to step out there with confidence.
Exactly. Then I would say building the right team.
Okay, this word, teamwork makes the dream work, huh?
Yes. You see, no one can do everything. That's what our Creator has. That's how it is. That's what it is. So we can fool ourselves there, you know, in fact. So you need to have the right team around you, especially we entrepreneurs. We need a team because we have what is the main talent of an entrepreneur or skill is to look for businesses, opportunities, I should say, and take the financial risk and build business. So for that to be established, you need the right team.
I was going to ask you a question. So you were talking about how a lot of people are cutthroat and how you've been trying to keep your integrity. And right now we're talking about team building. Have you ever come across a situation where someone took advantage of you or was cutthroat to you, and how did you deal with it? How did you maintain your integrity, and how did you deal with someone perhaps even in your team dealing with you in a way that was immorally or ethically wrong?
I have a principle that I don't quarrel because of money.
Okay.
Because money is short-sighted. Money comes, money goes.
Yeah.
And I tell you, money comes, money goes. You see a lot of money, and you find out that, you know, there's a verse in the Bible that says money has wings and it flies. You know, and it does. When you're in business, it does. And that's what it is. It's quite deceitful that when you look at the money, and it's all the money you can see, you don't see the bigger picture. And when you see the money, that's where you get someone who takes advantage of your kitchen. And that person, okay, he made a few £1,000 from you, or hundreds, but he lost a lot.
That's right.
Because you would have introduced him. Yeah. Anyone, look, you're on a radio show.
It's true.
You could have said, oh, my kitchen, he would have been sitting here.
Yeah, they actually got liquidated.
You see? Good.
Wow.
Not good, but
the Lord will punish them.
I mean, you see that is shortcut is big fall.
Yeah,
you know, shortcut is big fall. You know what I mean? So that's a typical example.
Yeah.
So he was looking for the money. Maybe got a few hundreds or thousands from you that he shouldn't have.
Can we go to this side a bit?
Yes.
No, this side.
Do you want me to just fix the camera?
All right, give me a sec. Yeah, go on.
Is it okay now? So maybe he got X amount from you, but now it's liquidated, and because probably they were doing this to different people. Yeah, and that's a typical business that excels. You know, maintenance, construction.
Yeah.
It excels because people who do the job well, they are inundated with work. You know, they can't cope with the demand, because you find that in the industry, unfortunately, most are very short-sighted.
Wow.
You know,
that's sad.
Yes, and what it is, they just see the money, and what happens? He probably is not just done this to you. Then the different many other clients, and today is liquidated.
It's true. That's a very strong point. So, what you're saying there is what you said to Shad was don't get disillusioned by chasing the money.
Exactly.
Right. And what the other thing is, the importance of building a team. Not
to get disillusioned by chasing the money. Chasing the money can be deceitful.
Okay.
You know, and it really leads to it leads to you not seeing the bigger picture, which is service. And really, service, having the right values, is what attracts the wealth.
Gotcha.
Chasing money doesn't attract the wealth. So the question was, have I ever seen people who try to be cutthroat with me? I said, well, I've seen, but I don't have an issue with that because that's very short-sighted.
Yeah.
So instead of quarreling with these sort of people, I end up continuing learning from the experience and increasing my values in order to attract more clients.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll keep working on you. So keep working on you. You build a team. You can't build by yourself.
Exactly.
Chanel from Kilburn says, I agree. I know a lot of people that are business orientated and stable. Oh, sorry. Jade says, morning school run complete. Lots of laugh. Chanel from Kilburn says, what was the most hardest challenge that you faced in your business where you had to put your foot down and it was really hard for you to do this? So a time when you really had to put your foot down and it was very difficult for you to do it.
Well, it's when you get into a bad deal and maybe without realizing it, but you had to put your foot down, and because there was no turning back, you were,
it's do or die.
Yes,
and I prefer you die.
Exactly.
I'm just joking, guys.
So you know, and that's where perseverance comes in, and I think that's the next one. I have that on my list.
Perseverance.
You have to persevere. Yes.
Okay, so we've got perseverance. Goldie says here, from Lester saying, marketing is really important, not just for your business, but for yourself. Like we learned from a few weeks ago on Wednesday, we're speaking about people market business and products, but they forget to market themselves, you know, when it comes to love life. You know, so this is something that we've been learning on Wednesday. Minnie says, question, is there any other app to use, please? As of Trading 212, I've been waiting 3 months to use. Okay, we will help you with that, Minnie. Just get through to us on the Black Breakfast Show WhatsApp line, okay? And we'll deal with that. All right, we'll help you with that. Let's make sure you take the number and just send a message, questions about Tuesday, okay? Goldie says, shortcut, big four. I'm stealing that one. Yeah, shortcut, big four. Actually, it's going to note that one down. All right, so tell us a bit about perseverance.
Well, when you have a goal, you have to persevere in the sense that there will be many challenges. And that's why it's important to pursue your talent, your passion. Because when you try to copy or imitate someone else, when the challenges come, you can go, you can't continue. You're going to give up. But when you are passionate about it, you continue persevering, and that's what it takes, because business is cyclical. You have ups and downs in business. But I believe when you have the right values and you have the right commitment, you will always attract business. And that leads me, perseverance, that leads me to the next, because sometimes people mistake perseverance for being stubborn or being stagnant. Is different. Perseverance is having a goal, but you must always improve. Oh, wow. Yes, you must always improve.
I like that one.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Perseverance is having a goal, but you must improve.
You must, yes, always improve. The Japanese call it the Kaizen. They call it the Kaizen, you know. This is very important because in Japan, after the Second World War, the country lost everything. And they applied this approach. What is the approach of the Kaizen approach? It's small changes every time. Never remaining the same. Not unachievable goals, because some people set themselves unachievable goals that is daunting, and they even feel intimidated. You know? But what this concept is always looking for ways to improve. So, like this,
and it could be minute. Yeah, so because the big changes can seem a bit daunting.
Yes.
From wherever you're coming from.
Exactly.
But if we're looking at small changes here, and especially if you're persevering and you're trying, you're gonna see little errors. You won't see all the errors, but you'll see little errors, and you're saying, like, just work on that little one. Then you spot another one, work on it. So keep persevering, but keep working those little small things as you go along.
Exactly. So you keep working on it, and before you know it, obviously Japan, they became the best in many things.
Wow.
In technology. Yes,
that's true.
But it wasn't major goals. It was just small changes, and it was they found it that it was really surprising how those small changes led to big changes. So it's never static. So you're always seeking, okay, how can I do this better? How can I do this better?
To add even a bit of context, what happened after World War II to Japan was that basically America kind of, to put them down, and it was kind of a strategic, took away a lot of their cultural things. So Japan beforehand was known as a country that didn't want to trade with anybody outside. Japan specifically did its best to keep itself within itself. It didn't like foreigners, anything like that. And one of the things that America did was all the traditional samurai swords, because that was like a family heirloom. America took it. It was actually given to soldiers that were the American soldiers. And in essence, Japan lost what would you be considered its highest value, which was its culture, its identity. And to come back from that, where you see Japan now, for example, they're leading in terms of technology. They're leading even in space technology. They're actually quite ahead. Imagine Japan, such a small country, they have their own space program going on. Japan. Like you think of India. India has a lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of technological investments. Japan is on that level. They have their own. You can even go to the science museum. You're gonna see that Japan actually has its own input. Like they build their own satellites, things like that. They're successful in what they do because of this
small improvements, strong things.
Yes. So that's very important, and also knowledge. You need to.
So it's number 8.
Yes.
Number 8 is knowledge.
So you need to always make sure you improve. You can never be the same. There are many companies who refuse. You know many of them. You can talk of
that refuse to grow and learn.
Refuse to learn.
Blockbusters.
That's a big one.
Seriously, I like Blockbusters. Now they were erased from existence.
Exactly. You must always change.
And they rejected Netflix when they made a proposal to them because of this.
Yes.
Wow.
So knowledge, you have to always improve your knowledge. Don't think, because as I say, money can be deceitful, and that's why a lot of people are in pursuit of money and they lose out.
Sorry, I was going to say, Google.
Yes.
That was something that that happened interesting with Google was,
switch on your camera.
I really don't like being on camera. But anyway, so something that happened interesting with Google, just an example, is that when Google first came out, they were behind in everyone in terms of when they brought out the browser, whenever they did anything.
Yeah, Yahoo was like the main thing, and Hotmail, isn't it?
Gmail, everything, they were late. But their emphasis was, let us build something that people would actually like to use. So then what happened was the current CEO of Alphabet, he just came in, I think, 2004 as a manager. And what he suggested building something called the Chrome. And the head of Google at that time, a lot of the guys said no. But because the actual CEOs were like, no, if we invest in this and make something good, even though we're late, if we make something good, it will be successful. So they invested in the guy. They invested in the guy's idea. Next thing you know, Google Chrome came out. And a lot of these investments were focused on just making a good product, because they knew what people wanted. So they kind of fed into what people wanted. Like when they built their laptops, they said, let us make a laptop. It won't compete with Windows or Mac. It won't be a laptop for professionals. It would just be for the person who just wants to use YouTube. So they did. And now they have Chrome OS.
All right.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So it's always improving. We see this with the apps, for example, Telegram always improving. Then constructive criticism, you should be able to take that as well.
Is that part of number 8?
Yeah, no,
9.
9, sorry.
Okay,
yes.
To take constructive criticism.
Yes, so basically that's where the feedback comes in, which is the same in a way. You make sure if you notice businesses, they grow, you may not realize it, but they spend so much on feedback.
Yeah, I get it in my browser.
Yes, you get so much on feedback, and they implement the feedback, especially in hospitality. They find out exactly what you want, and years down the line, you see them. Those are check every successful hotel, really big chain, successful, everything you see today is what the clients, those that are really successful, is what their customers requested.
Okay, wow.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
because it's easily to get offended by criticism, and
Yes.
you know, you obviously the moment you create something or you do something, or like Chanel's saying here, she says, "Thank you for the mouthful nuggets. The nuggets are not only applied to business, but to me as an employee. Choosing the company to work for, the quality of the work and that I do, and improving. You know, and you know, even oh, by the way, Effie says diamond nuggets salt." All right, well, like, it's really nice. So, so exactly, improve. And sometimes we can take things as criticism in a negative way, right? Because the moment we do something, we provide a service, or we do something, we make ourselves open to criticism. We're doing a work. You know, people are looking at that work. People automatically judge that work, and sometimes people's hearts are not ready to accept the feedback, especially if it's not what we want to hear. But what you're saying is, listen to that.
Yes.
You know, it's coming from somewhere, and you can only get better if you take it on board.
Yes, the demanding customers or clients are the best ones.
Oh yeah.
Because when everything is fine, you don't improve, and that's why we are in a society of competition. For example, you have regulation against anti-competition. So many times they don't want companies to be too big where you can compete. So there is a watchdog that looks at that to make yes, definitely. Why? Because competition is good.
Yeah,
competition makes the customers
win.
Exactly.
I play. Do you know how many times I play like media services against each other when I'm upgrading?
Yes, that's it.
Oh no, Robert gave me that advice. I did it.
Yes,
I did
so
it. I did it when I was looking for broadband. I said, look, this company is offering me this, and I ended up just going through getting the best.
All right. Absolutely.
Value.
So this competition is important, and take constructive criticism.
Yes.
Number 10, I
would say exercise.
Okay. All right. This isn't in any order, guys.
Yes,
okay.
It's not in
this
any
isn't
order.
in any order, but
Exactly.
it's in there, right?
So I will say exercise. It's important to exercise. It helps your. It's refreshing. It keeps you going. It gives you a good balance, and it helps your focus. Funny enough, because when you are disciplined to have that routine that you don't probably want 3, 4 times, 5 times a week.
Absolutely.
It also gives you, it builds your character.
Yeah.
In business, because you need to have, you need to have a very strong character in business, because you will face many challenges. If you are not strong, you will fall.
Wow.
That's why you have many businesses.
Robert, do you enjoy exercising?
Absolutely. I just don't.
You look like it.
I just don't like to start if I've had a break. But we have to do it. We have to make a way somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah. I used to have this thing about exercising in the evenings, because you know when you exercise you get endorphins in your body.
Yes.
And I like using it in the mornings. However, mornings are not the best times for me. You know, so I'm thinking I might have to do something in the evening. But I get it. And these are all things. All these things encapsulate together. You know, and listeners, it doesn't matter where you are right now. Actually, let's go to the close-up one over this side. Yes, listen, it doesn't matter where you are right now, what stage you are on your journey for your pursuit of success, but you know, these things that Mr. Efe has shared with us today, if we pick them all one by one, you know, we evaluate ourselves, we evaluate our integrity, we evaluate our efforts, we evaluate if we're putting God first. Like maybe you think, God, you know, but give it a try. Be like, God, like, show me what to do. You know what I mean? And I think that the peace and clarity that comes from that to apply these other things will start to manifest themselves. What I've got from you, Effie, that this is not going to be an easy road, it's not going to be an easy journey. It's for the thick-skinned. Chanel's saying how even as an employee, these tools are very useful because literally we want to be the best version of ourselves, and I think that comes back to what you're saying about the purpose, right? Why are we here? Are we here to be mediocre? Are we here like, you know, no one would, you know, that we didn't make any difference, right? Everybody has a different vision of what they want to create, how big, if they want to create jobs or if they just want to have a stable life that is a good example of a good quality of life, you know. So Effie, so look, doesn't matter where you are, these 10 tips, if we take them apart, we practice them, work on them incrementally one by one, because there's some things we might not be strong at, we're gonna get there.
Yes,
we're gonna get there. We have our breakfast show talkers, Mr. Effie. They're saying before we finish up the show, Chanel saying thank you for them. Goldie saying, Mr. Robust, I see you writing these. I'm out shopping, so please can you send me the thanks. This is too good. All right. Julie says criticism is good feedback. It's an opportunity to improve. She actually has a center. I think it's a daycare center.
Okay.
Also, Annabelle says when everything is fine, we don't improve. So fire for true. Jeanette says exercise is also the secret to good health. Booyah Shaka. Renee says thank you, Mr. Effie, for the golden tips this morning. And Jeanette says even starting with a brisk walk, that could be the exercise. It doesn't need to be nothing so
exactly
like hardcore. And Miss Eva saying, can you send to us? All right, you guys are not easy. Look, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna prepare this program, all right, and it's gonna be on youtube.com, all right, /C/robust life TV. You'll be able to catch the replay right there, all right? And you can definitely get the nuggets as well, and we'll put something in the description for you as well. Mr. Effie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
It's been absolutely phenomenal having you on the show this morning. And you know, obviously you've given us these 10 tips, but on the Breakfast Show with the Pursuit of Success, we love to hear people's journey, all right? We haven't gone into your journey yet, but we'd love to have you in next week if you're available.
Next week.
If you're available, we'll see, we'll organize, we'll talk. So you could take us through the journey, like the practicalities, the risks, the things that were put in front of you that you had to make certain decisions, the choices that were made that didn't go so well, and you had to come back and learn from it afterwards. You know what I mean? We would love to hear your journey on the Breakfast Show. So let's definitely work it out, yeah?
All right. Sure.
All right, fantastic. All right, Breakfast Show faithful. So this has been your Pursuit of Success today. This has been absolutely awesome. That's it. That's it. Let's keep learning. Let's keep developing. Let's apply this. I put the YouTube channel on the site. We've been blessed enough to be able to have the interviews on there, so you can follow Back the Show to get these golden nuggets. But other than that, we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to have the dynamic duo of health, wellness, and success joining us, Ronald and Patrina. All right. On tomorrow's show, we're going to continue our book analysis of Bulletproof Dating, which has been wonderful. Effie, that Bulletproof Dating book, you know, we can keep some books on the shelf.
Yes.
We've actually been going through it on the show, and even though we're married or how long we've been married, there are nuggets there that it's just like, it really is really helpful.
To keep on improving.
We need
to. Our marriage will be stale.
Yeah. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like. What are you talking for? You're not married. Stay quiet. Just watch. Sometimes I just have to. All right, but yeah. So you don't want to miss that tomorrow, guys. Then Ronald's gonna come with the extensive wellness tip. We're literally gonna be showing us things that we have in our kitchen cupboard, local grocery store, things that we can grow on our windowsill that can do wonders for our health and well-being. So it's going to be a powerful, phenomenal show, so don't miss it. Make sure they're nice and early from 7 a.m. in the morning. Guys, this is your Breakfast Show. I'm excited. Life is good.
Likewise.
Oh yeah. And we'll be back until then. Until then, guys, God bless you and ciao for now. You are on the globe, start your morning right. Monday to Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. UK time. Join Robert Ashite and Hercules, your man of sound. Connect online Monday to Friday with special guests for inspiration, motivation to start your morning right. Music, banter, fun and laughter. Connect when you start your mornings with The Breakfast Show. Only on libertyradio.co.uk. That's right, The Breakfast Show is back. libertyradio.co.uk from 6:30 a.m.